we want to just always respect everyone's time for being here early and on time. So welcome to everyone here for the Get Engaged National International Charity, Charities Edition. I'm Cindy Ankowitz, and I am the Zone Director for 3 zones for Captivate. Before we get started, and Jen and I will introduce ourselves a little bit more, but let's talk about some virtual housekeeping here. So the first thing is please mute your speakers. To do that, you can just, on Zoom, you can go down to the bottom left and you see a little camera and just and a mute microphone. You just click that and a red line goes through it, so you're muted. If you are, and we do ask everyone to mute themselves because, again, as I had mentioned earlier, we have over 130 people have registered to attend today's session. So we really want to make sure that all that background noise, most of us are working from home, so we don't want to have dogs barking and, all that kind of stuff going on. So we can go ahead and share the information. I believe we have it set up so for security purposes that as soon as someone registers, you're muted. If you are calling in, I believe you hit the *6 if you're calling in with the phone, and that will unmute you if you do need to speak. We want to open things up for communication and conversations, of course, but we do want to encourage you to embrace the chat function. So down below, you see a little icon for a little box that says chat. So if you have any questions, we already have people who are using it. So if you're walking around or eating or something, people can see that. So just kind of be aware of your placement in your house. So thank you. To do a little bit of an introduction, again, as I mentioned, I'm Cindy Ankowitz. Since 2008, I became a supporter as a PCFO, and then also as an outreach coordinator with working with Captivate since 2017. So I have both hats on for me. So we're able to kind of relate to where you are, relate to if you're a federation member or an independent charity, and how things have changed and how we're moving forward. I just would like to say one of the great things about Captivate is, as I mentioned, we really want feedback. We want to continue to improve the experience for you. But also, it's really a pleasure to know that we as Captivate really embrace charities. Charities is, what this program is about, and the mission to be able to offer federal employees a great program that they can choose and select the charities and the causes that they would like to support. And so we really want to make sure that we're here for our charities, and it's nice to be able to work for that organization to do that. Jen, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Jen Stein. I work for Captivate at our headquarters office, or our PMO, Program Management Office. So I do a lot of the behind the scenes things, including you'll hear me talking about our new charity registration process and how that works. So I was integral in getting that set up and just supporting the team generally. I come from the corporate social responsibility world, or the corporate giving world. So very familiar with employee giving programs from that capacity, and actually started my career as a social worker and worked for a number of nonprofits, and then also work for Reading is Fundamental in their development department. So have kind of a 360 view of the employee giving process. And certainly looking forward, as Cindy said, to talking to you about what we're doing.
So today we're going to be talking about Captivate. We're going to start off telling you a little bit about Captivate and our zones. And then we're going to talk about, Jen is going to share our new project process for signing up for events, seeing what's available out there. We'll also talk about 2 programs that are pretty unique to Captivate Zones, which is DFC Marketing U, as well as the Fit Feds for a Cause. So that's really what we're going to be doing, as we move forward today in today's session. We're hoping to get it done in an hour, but of course, Jen and I are available afterwards if you have individual questions as well that you don't want to share with the group. So as I mentioned earlier, if you have a question, go ahead and unmute yourself, raise your hand, because you can do that with a reaction at the bottom of your screen for a Zoom call, or do it through chat. We will have little pauses in between to make sure that you have that opportunity. So to tell you a little bit about Captivate, we are the outreach coordinator, and we cover 11 zones through the Combined Federal Campaign. We are a management and marketing consulting firm based out of Alexandria, Virginia. We have over 100 years collective experience with program management for marketing campaigns, research projects, for both the public, commercial, and the nonprofit sectors. In regards to the Combined Federal Campaign, we have a cumulative staff experience of over 50 years with the Combined Federal Campaign. So we really do bring a rich experience with CFC to the table. And I believe all of our zone directors are actually coming from the CFC world from previous years and charity responsibility. So we really, again, have a rich passion for that. We have satellite offices throughout the country. I'm here in Phoenix. That's where I'm located. And then we also have offices and people working from their homes from Alabama, New Jersey, Utah, Pennsylvania, Washington, and the Carolinas. And then, of course, the PMO offices, as Jen mentioned, is around the Washington, D.C. area. So I wanted to give you guys a visual snapshot of what CFC looks like. So, of course, in 2017, the CFC went from about 150 zones to 36 zones nationwide, or through the country. And there is about 4 outreach coordinators that have contracts to help support the program within these certain zones. So today, just to kind of clarify, and I want to make sure we're all on the same page, we're going to be talking about activities only for Captivate supported zones. All right, so we have 11 zones across the country. And here is a visual of those. Each of the colored locations are the zones, and then there's the key, of course, to the side. We did have people who asked us previously if these slides will be available, and we will send those out with a follow-up email, so you'll be able to see that again. But just in general, starting on the west side, we have Washington and Oregon. We cover Northern California, Desert Southwest, which is Nevada, Arizona, New Mexico, and 18 counties in Texas. We also have the Mountain States, which is Utah, Colorado, Wyoming, Idaho, and Montana. And then the middle of this country, that's usually, another outreach coordinator. He handles a lot of those territories or those zones. And then we pick it back up for the Greater Tennessee Valley, which is most of the state of Tennessee. We have Peach Belt, which is northern Georgia. Maybe if we have time today, we can show you that website and show you where to look. Thanks, Jen. So we're not going to go into tons of details about, participating in events, how you should do that, what you can do, why you should do it. But we do want to touch base on some of that. And the reason why is because we have another program that goes into a lot of details that can support you. We could actually do face-to-face in virtual real time as well. And that is an example of just today. If you're doing a training or participating in doing a presentation, I would always encourage you to show your face, to have your camera on when you're doing a Zoom call or any kind of virtual call, so that people can get to know you. More and more, we're getting more aware and comfortable with the virtual environment, and our federal government employees are no different. They are almost everyone is working or has worked in a virtual environment since March with the COVID-19 pandemic. So make sure that your face is seen and people can get to know you that way. Also, to show some love to the federal community, always appreciate them, show appreciation in your own marketing for your charity organization. You can add, thanks to charities on newsletters, electronic platforms, especially social media. Social media is much bigger this year, and we're seeing a lot more activity associated with social media than in years past. So embrace that. Also, you can make campaign events fun and successful. So it's not just, we're here at Captivate trying to put the fun back into CFC and trying to do that in a virtual world. So you'll hear one of the ideas that we have is to try to do that. But we're also incorporating some of our zones, gaming in our zones. When we're doing an event, having people, get together and say, okay, everybody go run out, and we're doing a quick scavenger hunt, or, having a game, a bingo game or something with the activity. So we're going to try to keep it engaging and fun, and you can support that as well. And that might be wearing an odd hat or something like that, or dressing up in costumes if it's a Halloween related event, for example. And then, of course, we always want to, increase participation and donations for charities. And as any fundraising activity, it's not all about marketing. It's also about bringing awareness and building relationships. And there's no difference in a virtual environment as there is in a face-to-face. So general tips for campaign events with CFC is be memorable and engaging. We used to say that if you had a table display, don't sit down, always be in front of the table display. Don't sit down, don't be doing needlepoint, don't be watching a TV show on your smartphone, actually be engaging with the audience and be memorable. You could still do that in the virtual way. And one of those ways, again, is to make sure that you are showing your picture when you're doing a virtual environment. Don't just have your name up there or your picture. Actually be there, be present, smile. The same things go whether you are virtual or you're in an in-person, face-to-face type environment. Also, always tell your story. And it's not only your story of your charities, but also have your clients be able to share their story. That's very meaningful. And in the environment that we're going into, it's not just a written story, but also video. I would encourage everyone to participate in the virtual videos that we have, or the virtual charity fairs that we have that the National Marketing Group for CFC is organizing, as well as we've invited all of our local charities, national and international charities, to share their stories. And Captivate goes beyond just making them available on our website. We actually send some of these stories out to our campaign volunteers to share with their federal employees. So really tell your story and have an empowering and memorable story to say. Another item is provide giveaways. And sometimes I have people say, well, what are we supposed to do with that if we're not at a face-to-face event? The option is we're still trying to incorporate giveaways in our trainings, random drawings, hey, register here. Again, I mentioned doing games in our virtual environments, our virtual trainings and things. And we still need to have giveaways that we want to send out, right? So if your charity is invited to participate and do a presentation, just always be prepared with giveaways that if we ask you to share that with someone, we'll make that arrangement. Either it will be sent to us and we'll give it to the person, or it may be something that you can send it directly to that person. But of course, if that is the case, you can never, of course, keep the person's name and information, for CFC purposes.
Yeah, we had a related question from Emily asked earlier, and I said we get to.
One of the things I'd always recommend is because we are moving towards a virtual environment, is you should really have things available online. You should have PDFs available and electronic versions of your brochures and literature. And we can make that available if someone invites us, we can make sure that literature gets available. The electronic literature can get available to the campaign coordinator at a federal agency, if they ask. I mean, obviously we can't send emails with every charity because we have thousands of charities. So we can't house those things on a tool or a resource. But that's also something that, make sure, I would encourage everyone to make sure that their website is interactive, their website is user-friendly, that these materials are available, because everyone has access to your email, or excuse me, not your email, but your website, through our charity list and also the search engine for charities that we have on all of our zone websites as well. Does that help answer that question?
If they write back. We had another question from Angie asking about how to sign up for virtual charity fairs. So Angie, I will go through with you. One of the things I'll be covering shortly is how do you sign up for events that are within Captivate zones, be they events that we as Captivate are organizing or events that our campaign coordinators. In terms of signing up for the virtual charity fair that appears on the givecfc.org website, that is managed by another vendor. It's managed by the National Marketing OC. So Cindy, can you speak a little bit? I don't know the details of how they sign up for that. Do you know?
Every charity representative should have received an email with details about how to do. They had hints about how to do a good video and where to send those videos. Now, there was a deadline on that, but that deadline, please don't stop if you missed that opportunity to submit your video for the virtual charity fair. Please don't let that stop you from submitting it, because they're actually processing those as they go. So you will still be able to be on that process. Some things that I found interesting is one of the requirements for the National Virtual Charity Fair is that it has to be captioned. And that's due to 508 compliance, government compliance issues relating to people with disabilities, everyone being able to access the information. So that's something that's a little interesting. But if you need us to send that information to you or re-share that information, just let us know and we can get you that link. It also may be available information on the givecfc.org website as well. So the other thing that we kind of miss is, go ahead and promote the events that you are a part of. So, I'm not talking about sending an email to everybody on your listserv saying, hey, I'm doing this event for CFC, but it's a good opportunity to promote yourself and to promote CFC and event participation on your social media sites by tagging your local zone that's hosting the event, or actually taking a picture of yourself going, and putting that on your Facebook page or Instagram and saying, hey, I'm going to this charity, a fair or this event with the CFC. And those are the kinds of things that you can actually actively do to help promote that.
But so it'll be easier. The confirmation email that you received from us came from Cindy. So just reply back to that so that Cindy has your information and tell her what you need. That'll be easier than me gathering emails out of the chat. I don't want to miss anybody.
Great, Jen. Thank you.
Sure.
So virtual is the name of the game, right now. So I would encourage everyone, just for tips for campaign events, is try to become as tech savvy as possible. Always sign up early as what you did. A lot of us, joined the call earlier to make sure everything was working and your volume was good, all that kind of stuff. I would always encourage to do that. And sometimes technology can be a little intimidating, but you need to embrace it this year and try different things. And I would say practice with your friends, practice with your colleagues to make sure that you have it down as much as possible. And we're all doing that here at Captivate because it's kind of new. We've been doing webinars for years, but not to this extent. So we're playing games and we're trying different things. And, so that's really kind of what you have to do. And then also just, show what you do and practice good etiquette when you're doing any kind of events. For example, things that I said, turn off your volume or you mute yourself. If you are eating or doing something like that, make sure that you're not showing yourself on your camera. There's always some funny things on Saturday Night Live about Zoom calls. Don't do those things. Just really kind of practice good etiquette. Same kind of thing as if you're actually there face to face as well. Always maintain your professionalism and look for opportunities. Okay.
I was just answering someone's question who said they were having problems hearing the speakers, and my recommendation to anyone who's having problems hearing us is just go ahead and dial in as well. Just make sure you're on mute, but that should help you. So now we're officially up to the part. I'll go through with you event registration. I can tell you that by the fact that you are here, you already know most of what I'm about to tell you because you've already gone through our event registration process for this particular event. But I will go through it with you. I will actually show it to you. I'll talk to you about how some of the changes that we've made this year to make the process easier, particularly for our national and international charities. And so basically, in a nutshell, the event registration process, we have a calendar that you will go to where you can view a list of available items, available events. You'll find an event that you're interested in, you'll click the register button, and then we have a series of communications that will go out to you. So I'll quickly go over just so you can understand the registration process and the communication process and how that works. And then I'll jump over and I'll actually walk through the process with you.